let's talk about New Orleans Pelicans reportedly may not offer Brandon Ingram a 4-year, $208 million max contract. Let's speak on it. I think he got 1 year left on his deal, possibly with a player option. I don't remember. But let's just say 1 year left on his deal. I had a homie from New Orleans, got a couple of them that's fed up with it, Ingram and Zion. When they play, they look like the best team in the West. They bare minimum is what OKC Thunder was this year. I think even better because Shea didn't get that extra oomph. You know, and Shat is his first year, especially when him playing all 82 off the Elias Frank injury. And then also Jalen Williams. You know, everybody's not going, the first time around, everybody's not going to be an expert. I'll say that. So, you know, you got to understand, like with the Lions, nobody go from zero to hero. There's a process to building a business, to relationships, to corporate America. There's always a process. Some people process is quicker than others. Some people got more steps. Life isn't fair and isn't created equal. That's what people got to understand. It is not fair and is not created equal. So you got to remember, no matter where you come from, don't nobody owe you nothing, especially as a man. We're owned. They owe us nothing. They give us nothing. Everything we get is even super special because we usually get it out the mud. All right? So don't forget that. But that's just, it's a process. You know, and you know, if you follow every championship Piston team, you've seen it was a process. And you know, I don't have no issue with going to get Brandon Ingram. I'm not against that, and I do have my my issues with it because of the injury history. But that's every player in the NBA. You know, and you surprised the NBA haven't came up with an Iron Man team. You know what I'm saying? Like at 40 years old, Michael Jordan played all 482 games. And I have my suspicions and my theories. I think it's a lot to do with the nutrition. You see a lot of guys in their mid-30s getting a bunch of gray hair right now. They got a lot of times that's a sign of B12 deficiency. That's a sign of stress. I got a few gray hairs here and there. To me, it's a lot to do with what's in the food or what's not in the food. You know, that's why you shouldn't eat seedless fruit and seedless vegetables and stuff. I think it's mostly fruit, excuse me. But you know what? That's another story for another day. But with Ingram, I don't have an issue with it, you know, because I think you got some good. If you bring back the kid from Utah, you keep a Short Thompson, I think you got a good supporting cast behind him. I think Cade can slide and play the three if he need be. I think if you go get Bridges or you go get a guy like Lauri Markkanen or not Lauri Markkanen, a guy like Bridges and Harris, they can play the three. So, you know, you got guys that can slide in and play there. You know he ain't going to be an 82-game type of player. You know, but at the end of the day, you want to help him and Cade Cunningham and Durham figure out why they can't stay healthy. I think it's not enough science put behind why these guys can't stay healthy. I think we need more science behind that. Testing their blood, seeing what they lacking, getting in the weight room. These guys don't even be in the weight room no more. You got Kevin Durant shooting jump shots in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, why these dudes don't be like? I don't think they're as dedicated. And I think as football players, they have to be. You know, as football players, they have to be because you don't prepare your body in football, you won't last long, and your contract's not guaranteed. And I think in the back of your mind, I think having a fully guaranteed contract is a great thing. I'm not saying it's not, but whether you bust your leg open or not, you're gonna get paid whatever they owe you. That's a great security. That's like bench pressing or doing some type of exercise, and you got a spot that you can trust. It's totally different. When you lift something without a spot and when you lift something with a spot, they're totally different. It's a totally different set. Like I said, when I do squats or whatever, I superset my squats and deadlifts because I don't have that much time. And it's a really, really good conditioning, by the way. But, you know, when I have my days where, you know, it's rarely that I sit down unless it's super duper hot or I'm tired. But when I stand up doing my leg day squats and deadlifts, it's a totally different feeling than sitting down between sets. Standing up in between sets. So these guys got to figure out what's not working nutrition-wise. and strength and conditioning. But they just not as dedicated as the football players. And football players have to be. Even the skinniest guy, you know, they making fun of the Commanders' first round pick, Emmanuel Forbes. Think he might be a corner. His skinny legs. They talking about Deontay Wilder's skinny. Look here, I'll tell you this, man. From a guy that played basketball, that played multiple sports and shit like that, some of the dudes with the skinniest legs were some of the strongest guys shooting off the line, some of the strongest guys boxing you out, some of the fastest guys I ran track against or with. You know, that was long ago. That's like middle school. I was in private school still running track. Last time, and then I only ran track because everybody else was doing it. But yeah, I wasn't shit. But yeah, you know, there's some of the strongest legs I came across with guys who had skinny legs. So that's not an indicator of whether you strengthen the legs all the time neither. But you know, Ingram need to figure out, you know, and the NBA need to figure out how to tackle this problem, bro. And I think this new strength conditioning, when they doing light reps and resistant bands and shit, and I think that's part of the Pistons' developmental issues is, is finding out how can we get more durability out of our young guys. What can we start, you know, high protein, more leafy greens, more supplements, more, you know, picking up the weight, strength and conditioning, you know, putting them on the plan. Showing them how to be a pro. Is doing 70 down the street fucking necessary, Brad? I don't think it was. Man, black women with blonde hair, especially they dark skin, I'm sorry, man. This shit is a wild sight. I don't know who started that trend. Jesus Christ. Like a German chocolate cake. I'm sorry, man. That shit be throwing me off. But that shit be throwing me mad off. I hate that shit. But nonetheless, but yeah, I mean 50 million a year, just over 50 million a year. Luigi's Mansion got a new video game. I'm passed by GameStop. So 50 million a year. Look here, if people against it, I definitely understand it. You know, but I understand that the pickings might be slim. So you're not gonna get nobody to come here. You know, you might get Bridges to come back home, but that's not necessarily a good thing if he don't have the maturity. You say, we bumped his head once, and you think I tell you this about men. Even older men, bro, we can't pick women. We can't pick women to save our motherfucking life, and women can't pick men. This is why prearranged marriages probably was the best. Shotgun weddings and shit, prearranged what's they call diaries and shit. You gotta pay to get with somebody with all that. I think, you know, as I get older, bro, with women, I just get the like especially when you got peace and you know you've been through a long relationship, you got some type of peace out here and shit. You really don't be going to rush into nothing. And I think women run into the same thing. That's why they so comfortable with situationships. But the problem is, you know, we get better with time. They age like bananas. Once they over 25, that clock get to running. When they 30, it's damn near running out. So you got to remember that too. So you just get comfortable and just, you know, protecting your peace. If you just get a little bit of intimate time, you know, somebody had drinks, eat with every now and again, you cool with that. Rather than moving with somebody, dealing with the bullshit, man, I ain't got time for that, bro. But that's just me. But hey, nonetheless. But with Ingram, I ain't mind paying them that money, but I think the Pistons part of their developments, figuring out they issues and developing their team, I think across the board gotta be durability. It gotta be, they gotta figure out how can we be a more durable team. And a lot of they guys don't look like they hit the gym. You know, Steve Stu is one of them. Seem like he might be a little bit too muscular. These dudes don't be dedicated enough. And I think OKC really showed, like, you know, when you got a bunch of guys that's dedicated and they got a common goal, and they got their mindset set to stuff, and they can be conditioned. They can get into condition. And I just don't think our young guys are dedicated enough. But you bring Ingram in, you know, I think Tarjay Langdon, I think the first thing he should tackle is how do we become a more durable basketball team. And if that's going to get a strength and conditioning coach from the NFL or coaches from the NFL and get scientists, that's his number one thing. Him coming from New Orleans know that better than anybody else. Is how we can get better conditioning wise. And if he can figure that fun fucking fact out, I think then you figure out developmental wise and all that type stuff. But like I said before, they got a bunch of guys in the NBA that's just broken up, and that's the concern about signing Brandon Ingram to 5 years, $208 million, 4 years, $208 million max contract. There's durability, but when you can't get guys to come to your team, you got to take risks like that. When you get jobbed in the draft or you pass up on draft picks, and I have a theory. I think some of the picks that the Pistons had could have been great players, or had they took the Klay Thompsons, I could be wrong on that one, or had they took the Giannis or the Devin Bookers and guys like that, they probably would have messed them up too. Their developmental process has been trashed way before Troy Weaver and Tom Gores got here, and that's something they got to figure out. But I have no issue with it, man. But let me know what y'all girls and guys think, man. Check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, not Apple Podcast. I don't even do enough live streams. Just don't feel like it. But hey, appreciate y'all. Peace.